Plus, I discussed about different control. Okay, so different speed time curve for the suburban, urban, and mainline transportation. Okay, I hope all of you are able to understand those those calculations. How do you calculate the total distance? Okay, means speed from the speed time curvatures, and some of the numerical problem you have to solve in your home, and that should be mentioned in your classwork copy. Okay, so I will I also, if I get some time, so definitely I'll discuss about some of the solve numerical on it. Okay, so that three types of curvatures was there. Okay, three means curvatures were there. Okay, based on mainline transportation, then suburban transportations, and finally urban transportations. Okay, then we are factorized. There are different discussed about the different factors about your scheduling of the speed, average speed, schedule speed. That portions I have discussed in my last class. So some finally we have simplified the speed time curve. Okay, so finally we have simplified it to get the mathematical derivations on it. So basically what happened, what we have observed, that trapezoidal nature you can consider for the mainline transportation. Okay, mainline transportations. Okay, and for the urban and suburban we are considering about the trapezoidal, means quadrilateral concept. Okay, so first here you can see the trapezoidal speed time curve and the total calculations by using the Siddharth formula. You are getting the roots. Okay, then two type of speed you can observe, positive, negative. So whatever you are getting, so you should consider only the positive speed, and negative speed should not be considered. And finally you implement that formula to derive the numerical problem on it. Okay, then we can observe the calculation of the quadrilateral speed time curves. This can be observed for the suburban and urban transportations. Okay, so that portion is also being used like your previous calculations. First we have to find out the segment wise distance, then you can add all of them, and finally you will get the expressions of the total travel distance and the speed of the locomotive. Okay, now today I am going to discuss about how the train movements can be observed. Okay, that is normally called as a mechanics of the train movement. Okay, so what are the most important features on it for the train movement? You know that one, there are two for the transmissions. Okay, transmission of the tractive effort, there are two circle. You can understand that first one is called pinion. Okay, that is called the pinion motor, and last one is your wheel motor. Okay, sorry, that is called the pinion wheel joints. Okay, so there are tooths. Okay, there are different tooths are there. Okay, so and you know that gear. Okay, based on the gear ratio, the motor speed normally based on the gear ratio, the motor speed normally you can calculate. Okay, so based on the first you have to select the gear value. Okay, so how much teeth are there, gear teeth are there, so based on it, so you can define that value. Okay, so here you know that one first thing is your armature traction motor. Okay, so first it is your pinion motor, means pinion means that motor shaft directly connected. Okay, that motor shaft is directly connected in the pinion. Okay, then pinion is toothed with your wheel. Okay, so motors rotating of the motor means the motor shaft will be rotated. Okay, basically it's an electrical to mechanical conversion. So motor shaft is rotating. So due to due to rotations of the motor shaft, the pinion also been rotating. Okay, so if pinion is rotating in clockwise, so your wheel again pinion is connected wheel through the teeth. Okay, through the teeth. Okay, that portion is teeth. Okay, with the wheel. So if it is connecting clockwise, so gear wheel also being rotated, or road wheel and gear wheel. Okay, that also rotated into anti-clockwise. Okay, so that diameter, big diameter D, capital D stands for the diameter of the road wheel, okay, and it is pinion of the motor, armature traction motor, okay. So you know that dotted lines are there, one dotted line, one solid line, both of the cases. So that is your motor shaft, then it is your final traction motor shaft. Then here you know that is wheel, and that internal portions, that is called gear wheel, okay. So you know that pinion gear joint, okay. So the diameter is written, it is small d, it is your d dash, okay. So that what is the notations are there, what are the notations? Capital T means torque exerted by the motor. All are the important points are there, okay. So that we have to think about it for the solving of the numerical problem. And gear ratio gamma is there, that is small d by d dash, okay. And n is your efficiency of the transmission, okay, transmission efficiency. Then what you need to do, that means you have to, you know, the calculations of the torque and rest of the thing, you know that. So if you do f dash, okay, f dash is there, now you have to find out the value of f, okay. So based on it, so totally the expression, if you see the expression is directly related to your efficiency and the gear ratio, okay. So gear ratio totally depends upon the ratio of the diameters, okay. That all there, okay, ratio of the diameter. So based on it you can understand, so based on it you can understand the operations, okay, that operation, and final the expression of the speed, okay, that is functions of the efficiency as well as the gamma, okay. So both points are important, both are there, okay. So what are the coefficients of addition, okay. Now you have to think about it, that motor, just for a moment. So that we need to know about the coefficient of the addition. Okay, so basically why it is important. One in my previous lecture, okay, I discussed about if your motor is traveling. Okay, motor is traveling from the hill. Okay, or it is coming down from the hillside to the land. Okay, means plain land. So all the points are there. Okay, where you can observe. Where you can observe that the inertia of the machines, not like only inertia of that entire systems, okay. So as well as the inertia due to the inclines, okay, that if it is coming with the slopes, okay, if it is coming with the slopes, so other force, there are effects of the other force, maybe the incident angle of the inclined plane, okay, that having also effect on the motor, sorry, that having also effect on the force, okay, entire force of the system. So that's why the coefficient of addition is also important, that is called mu, okay. So your coefficient of addition, that means total force, that should be less than of your mu omega, okay. So that's the basic concepts, okay. So if it is greater than, if is greater than of your mu omega, so there will be no movement of your chain, okay. So that's why definitely that relations, okay, without of the slipping, okay, slipping means otherwise what happen, there will be no control. So it having lot of moment of inertia, and you are not able to brake, or you are not able to grip the motor, okay. That means grip the motor means grip the motor wheel, okay, that wheel is directly connected with your motor. So what is the most important points, that maximum friction from between driving wheel and the track, okay. So that is mu omega, all of you know about it, it is your +2 level concept from the chapter of frictions, okay, mu omega, okay. So where mu equals to coefficient of addition between the driving wheel and the track, Means coefficient of addition means what happened here, one sense of you can say like that it's a friction, okay, frictional constant, that's why it is coefficient of addition, it is talking like that, okay. So what is W? W is the weight of the train on the driving axle. Okay. So and coefficient of addition again mu. What is the, so mu equal to F by W. So what is your mu? Mu equal to tractive effort to the slip of the wheel. Okay. So how much tractive effort addition of the weight. Okay. So the one table is given from the constant data sheet. Data sheet means that available data is showing, so where the speed in the kilometer per hour, okay, so if it is mu, okay, that speeds are there, okay, that x-axis different values of speeds are given for 0 speed 15, 30, 45, 60, 75, for 15 divisions are there after 15, and mu is what? Mu is your friction, means coefficient of addition, okay. So mu value, you know that if the speed is increasing, that mu value is going to less, okay, that's why it is called coefficient of addition, okay. That means increasing of the speed means decreasing of the mu, so inversely proportional, okay. That's the concept, okay, inversely proportional. If it is not inversely proportional, then definitely that comes from the rolling frictions, okay. So movement of the means if the speed is increased, so the slipping nature of the wheel is more in the track, okay. That's the concept, okay. For the clean and dry rail, normally you have considered that mu equal to 0.25, like your smooth ACSR conductor, there are some factors are there, okay. So conductor surface depends upon your conductor surface, so different values are available, means multiplying factors, okay. So similar kinds of thing is also be there in your traction. So if the rail, definitely rail will be the smooth, okay. So smooth and dry rail, so that mu value equal to 0.25. If it is wet or greasy rail, so that value will be mu equal to 0.08, so mu value is going to be less, okay. Then there is a chances of slipping, so that's why sander, that's why one relay and protective device also be there that can responsible for sanding, okay, that can responsible for the sanding of the railway track, okay. So for weight at the greasy rails, the mu value equal to 0.08 depends upon the friction between the wheels and the rail track, the series parallel connections of the motor, speed of response of drive, smoothness with which the torque can be controlled, and the nature of the motor torque characteristics. So how much important that coefficient of addition depends. Friction between the wheel and the railway track, common sense. Then series parallel connection. Why series parallel connection? Basically, series parallel connections of the motor is decide the ultimate speed. Okay, so if the speed is increasing, if you want to increase the speed of the machines, okay, means traction system, so definitely you have to use different combinations, okay. That also been discussed in some of my after my lectures, okay, means in these slides it will also be there. So changing of the series parallel configuration, so that may responsible for the increasing and decreasing of the speed, okay. That's why the coefficients also been changed, okay, means coefficient of addition, the speed of response of the drive, okay. So that means inertia of the drive also depends, means mechanical time constant, okay, how bigs are there, okay. So that mechanical time constant depends upon the means maintain the response time of the drive. Then smoothness with which the torque can be controlled, so how smooth is it there, how smooth your system is it, so based on it, so you can say that smoothness of the system, means how sophisticatedly it is controlling, how your control strategies are very good to the immediate control of your traction drives, okay. The nature of motor torque speed characteristic, nature of motor torque speed characteristics, torque speed characteristics means which type of motor you are using. In case of DC series motor, that if you see the characteristic, then that friction means static friction, if there is more static friction, so no problem. Basically, zero speed it can overcome more torque. Okay, it can overcome more torque. So that's the benefit of the DC series motor. But same kinds of benefits you cannot see in for induction motor. So for this reason, you have to design some special arrangement to for additional with the induction motor, means machine designing arrangement is required. So that can also overcome such type of characteristics. Okay, for the traction motor. Then tractive effort on the propulsion train. Okay, so propulsion of the train means movement of the train. So addition means here it is trains to move. Coefficient of addition means train is try to move. Okay, so that's why the after that what happened, the propulsion of the train. Now the tractive effort means train is now moving. Then what will be the propulsion of the train? So that effects. So what is the important definition? The effective force. Okay, the effective force necessary to the proper the train. Okay, to propel the train, the wheel of the locomotive called the tractive effort. Okay, so that means now train is try to moving. Okay, so try to moving. So train is now moving. Okay, so initial case train is tends to moving, but it is not moving. Okay, and what is the measurement? Definitely it measuring in the air. Okay, so total tractive effort. So you have to understand that points very well manner. Basically at the time of exam the numerical problem will be coming, okay, based on your equations, that all those equations, like in my last class I discussed about the areas. Okay, so the calculation of the distance, everything. Today I am asking about discussing about the tractive effort. Okay, coefficient of addition. So based on this idea theory, you have to solve different numerical problem at the time of exam. Such type of numerical problem will come. Okay, so coming Friday I may take one exam. Okay, I may take one exam based on your previous practice, means based on your previous classes. Okay, there I am not deciding, I have not decided yet, but there is a chance to take an exam on coming Friday. Okay, so that the total tractive effort that I have been discussed. So what is your total tractive effort required to train on the track? So tractive effort required for the linear and the angular acceleration. Okay, so linear and angular acceleration means you can understand. So angular acceleration also required for rotation. So track all the time it is not like that just straight line. It looks like a straight line, but sometimes the curvatures are there. Okay, that's why it is sometimes it is also known as that angular acceleration. Basically the pinion gear joints are there, so it's not directly acceleration, it is also angular acceleration. So theta also sometimes important. Okay, the track plus the tractive effort to overcome the effort of the gravity, definitely. So gravity means it having lot of static friction. Okay, this model having lot of dead load. Okay, so first you have to overcome the dead load of the system, means inertia is too high. Okay, plus the tractive effort overcome the train resistance. Okay, train resistance means that I am telling about you, it having lot of dead load and the train resistance means now all the passengers are inside of the train. Okay, in one passenger having 50 kilo, maybe 60 kilo, at that time minimum 1,000 passenger can travel. So can you imagine how much Newton is there? Okay, now that measured in Newton. So how much Newton is there? Okay, so that you have to calculate. So what will be the final tractive effort? Ft equal to A plus minus Fg plus F. Okay, so the tractive effort of the acceleration. What are the important points for the tractive effort for the acceleration? According to the laws of the dynamics, the force equal to mass into acceleration. Okay, you know that one, very simple formula. F equal to m into alpha, or you know m into a. Okay, a for acceleration. M equal to what? M equal to mass. So it's weight in ton or weight in the train. Okay, weight in ton or weight in train. Okay, so m equal to 1000 weight kg. So if you convert that ton into the kg, okay, the acceleration will be what? Alpha equal to kilometer per hour per second. So you have to convert it in the sometimes meter per second square. Okay, so total thing is that value you are getting, equivalent value. So the tractive effort required to linear acceleration. So the tractive effort requires linear acceleration F alpha equal to F A or F alpha. Okay, M into alpha equal to 1000 omega W into 0.2778 alpha. So finally it is coming Fa equal to that portion Fa. Okay, Fa is the active effort for the acceleration. For acceleration, how much required? Minimum efforts are required. Fa equal to 277.8 W alpha within bracket N. So that means unit in the Newton. Okay, now rotating parts of the train such as the wheels and the motor also accelerated in the angular directions. Okay, so it is acceleration also possible in linear as well as angular. Okay, so linear means when it is traveling through the track. Okay, and angular means same times that motor also responsible, so angular rotations, motor also responsible, shaft is rotating in angular, so that also responsible angular movement of the wheel. So both of the acceleration is important. So you are changing the if you are changing the flux, okay, if you are changing the flux of the motor, definitely that changing of the flux also responsible for angular acceleration changes in the rotor, sorry, in the shaft and the wheel. Okay, or the pinion wheel joint or pinion wheel gear, pinion gear wheel bearing. So angular acceleration also being changed. Okay, that's why it is written the rotating parts of the train such as wheel and motor also accelerating in angular direction. Okay, then the tractive effort requires is equal to the tractive effort required to have the angular acceleration of rotating part, angular acceleration, rotating part, and the tractive effort required to have the linear acceleration. Okay, so that also be important for angular acceleration. Then you can see think about it for linear acceleration. Then finally train is moving. Okay, then you can see the figures of the effect of gravity. So normally W is your gravitational, means weight. Weight means it's a gravitational effort. Okay, that angle is there. Angle of incline. So it is inclined plane. So angle of incline is theta. Okay. So what will be the calculation? So your force is W sin theta, and your now it is normal. Okay, that is the tension. You know, like the normal component and countering your normal component, one tension is there like that. Okay. So how much value was there? So it's the value is looking that W cos theta. Okay. So what is the value? The angular acceleration. That angular acceleration depends on the individual weight and the radius of the gyrations of the rotating parts of the train. Radius of the gyration means how much radius are there for the wheel. Okay, and WE equal to what? Equivalent. WE equals to equivalent of the acceleration weight of the train. Okay, and WE always greater than W. Okay, so equivalent or acceleration weight. If the acceleration weight is less than W, then what happens? The train will not be moved. Okay, so that's why WE must be greater than capital W. Okay, so how much percentage more is it? 8 to 15% more. Tractive effort required for the acceleration. So EA, that FA already you are getting from the previous expression, 277.8 W E alpha N. Okay, that you are already getting. Now the point number B, the tractive effort. Okay, the tractive effort to overcome the effect of gravity. Okay, so gravity means that means that due to gravitational force always attract not like only train, everything. Okay, in earth everything they are attracted. Okay, so when the train is on the slope, okay, then what will be the problem? Train on the slope, the force of gravity equal to the component of the dead weight along the slope acts on the train and tends to cause of the motion down to the gradient of the slope. So when train is coming down from slope, so definitely that W is coming here, but normal component W cos omega t. So it is not simple well. So it is not exactly countering with the W. Okay, so W cos omega t is your countering factor of your W. Okay, so total force you are not getting. So you have to, and you know that W, if that value is different, so slipping component, so mu value automatically reduce. Okay, if the mu value is reduced, so you have to add additional force, additional which type of force? Countering force to your track. That's why in that condition you are giving the sender. Okay, you can enable the sander. So sanding means external frictions also eligible. External friction also been included in where in the railway track. Okay, so the force of the force due to gradient, it is your Fg equal to what, 1000 W sine theta. Now it has changed. Okay, that weight is the 1000, so W. Now it has changed to 1000 W sine theta. It is your force. Percentage of gradient is G percent. How much percentage is it? You have to calculate. So it is G percent means 100 into sine theta. Okay, and sine theta equal to G percent by 100. So you are getting the value, and Fg equal to what, 100 Wg percent in the kg. And if you convert the kg to Newton, so you have to multiply 9.881, or you can say like the 10. Okay, if that values are not given in the question paper, okay, sometimes it is not given. Basically common sense, the value of G, small g, so that is your 10. Okay, no more or less, or 9.81. Okay, so directly you are getting to find out the value of Fg. Okay, Fg equals to coming how much value, 98.1 Wg percent. So here you are getting the Ft equal to Fa plus Fg. Now Fr is pending. Okay, Fa calculations of the Fa, that active effort for the acceleration, you are getting the expression Fa. Okay, now you have to go for Fg. Fg you have also calculated what is the value of Fg equal to 98.1 Wg percent into Newton. So all are in Newton. Okay, you can see the units all are in Newton. Okay, then only one component is pending, that is Fr. Fr means what? So first you are getting tractive effort required for the linear or angular acceleration. That is your linear or angular acceleration. You are getting the expression. Then tractive effort to overcome the effort of gravity. So overcome the effort of gravity. So next point is there. So tractive effort to overcome the train resistance. Okay, so that is important. So last point, so see, you can know, you can understand the see the tractive effort to overcome the main train resistance. Okay, so you have to know the value of train resistance, then you can only say the exact value. Okay, so what are that value? So you can see that what is, first you need to know about the what is train resistance. Okay, sorry for excuse me. Okay, so chain resistance, we need to know about the what is chain resistance. Okay, so just wait. So first the So what do you mean by that? What do you mean by the train resistance? Okay, so train resistance consists of all kinds of force. Okay, so what kinds of force? All kinds of force, including the motion of the train. Okay, that means inertia for static inertia, and then inertia for the motions. Okay, so motion of the train when it is running at uniform speed on the straight or the level track. Okay, means straight and level track. Okay, that is important. Then chain resistance inclusions of the friction at the various part of the rolling stock. Okay, means that chain movement is there on the wheel. Okay, so that the rolling stocks are there. So basically the first, if you go, if you if you able to go any of the workshop, railway workshop, you can see there the one basement was there. Okay, so bogie, they are connecting the bogie later. First they are doing the basement. So wheel, okay, the wheel setup, okay, wheel and motor setup, everything they are preparing first, then they will connect the coach. Okay, means coach means body of that, means they are installed the just above the wheelbase. Okay, so then the friction between the track and the wheel. So what are the chain resistance? So how much value is there? So smooth track will be there, so mu value will be less. Then air resistance. So you know that train is moving through one means countering the effect of the air. So the speed is more means they are definitely it's a high value of air resistance. So these three portion you have to overcome. So generally you can see that equations of the train resistance can be written like that: R equal to K1 for the friction of the various part of the rocking stock. Okay, rolling stock that roll due to the rolling, then KV2 for the friction weight track and the wheel, and for the air resistance that is in parabolic nature. Okay, K3 V square. Okay, that expression you are getting from where? The expression if you gone through the drives, if you gone through the subjects of drives, so it was discussed the different types of load. Okay, different types of load means fan load is there. Fan load means if the air means fan is rotating in the air. Okay, fan is rotating in the air means it needs to be overcome the air friction. So normally it is look like that. It is in parabolic in nature. Okay, if you see the different load characteristics in any of the book you can follow like Dubey. Okay, the one part was there. The what are the normal load characteristics for the drives. Basically traction means it's an extension of the drives. Okay, so different load descriptions are there. So due to the air resistance, normally we are using K3 V square means speed is square times of u means that value will be square times of your movement changes. Okay, where K1, K2, K3 are the constant and depends upon the type of chain and the track. Okay, so R resistance in the Newton, definitely all units are in Newton, so it should be the Newton, and V is the speed in kilometer per hour. Okay, so now what is the value of Fr? Fr equal to W into R. So that R value we have to calculate here. Then you get the value of Fr in the form of Newton, the tractive effort required to overcome the train resistance. Okay, so that portion Fr. Okay, so where the R is the specific train resistance and N is the ton of the dead N by N equal to ton of the dead weight. Okay, so total tractive effort, what will be the value? Ft equal to Fa plus minus Fg plus Fr. Some printing mistake is there. Okay, Fg plus Fr. Okay, it should be plus Fr. Okay, so Ft equal to what? Ft equal to 277.8 We into alpha that you are getting from the previous expression, plus minus 98.1 Wg percent, that also getting my previous slide, and finally that expression W into R. So positive sign means for what? Motion will be in gradient. Okay, motion up the gradient, and negative sign stands for motion down the gradient. Okay, so positive direction means slope positive, negative slope, like that way. Okay, so I think till now all of you able to understand what I am going to discuss. Okay, so that is simple portions. You have to go through any of the standard books. You can also follow my slides. Okay, follow my lectures, no problem. But at the time of exam, you have to solve the numerical problem. So that's why my suggestion is that different type of numerical problems you can solve in your home, that I have already mentioned some of the standard books name for the very beginning of my class. You can follow them and you can solve the numerical problem from that book. Okay, so that will be helpful for your cases. Okay, for the time of examinations. Now that the basic very simple schematic. Okay, schematic of the AC electric locomotive. Okay, that every day I am telling about you the AC electric locomotive. So that's the diagram. Okay, so first all of you just see the diagram. Okay, so what are the most important components of the diagram? Okay, first one is the overhead conductor. So first one is your overhead conductor. So overhead conductor having sorry, the overhead conductor having two portions. One is called the catenary, another one is called contact wire. So catenary and contact wire means what? Catenary can you know that one. Catenary provide you the mechanical support and you are just connect the supply to the catenary. Okay, so that's your catenary, and contact wire means contact wire is normally connecting. Okay, so contact wire is connecting through the dropper. Okay, that I have already discussed. Okay, so two wires are there. Catenary are in ACSR type and contact wire is the solid wire. Okay, it's look the cross section of the contact wire is look like 8. Okay, based on the cadmium and based on the copper and cadmium means that is called alloy of cadmium copper. So overhead conductor means they are all showing that contact one, and it is your pento. Okay, so it is your pentograph. Okay, it is Z shape concept, it is pentograph. Okay, then after pentograph what happened, this is your circuit breaker. So what type of circuit breaker we are using? Normally initial days it was used air blast circuit breaker. After that SF6 based, sorry, after that vacuum circuit breaker. Okay, so why? But in normal in normal locomotive, okay, in normal locomotive, sorry, in normal EMU, that is for the city ride or the means in EMU or menu. Okay, so normally we are using, normally Indian Railway are using the vacuum type circuit breaker. So why vacuum type circuit breaker? The rating of the vacuum type circuit breaker comparatively less with your air blast circuit breaker or air brake circuit breaker. Okay, so in case of air brake circuit breaker, that is normally used for the high rated locomotives, that for the mainline transportation. So okay, in that case you are using air brake circuit breaker. Or oil type circuit breaker, normally it is not used in that case. Basically oil type circuit breakers is a very the bulky in nature. Okay, MOCV is there. Another one is there, VOCV. Okay, so bulk, both of the options are there. MOCV means bulk type oil type oil circuit breaker, and MOCV means mini oil circuit breaker. But in case of mini, the shape of the mini oil circuit breaker also very big compared to your compared to your vacuum circuit breaker as well as the air blast circuit breaker. Okay, so that's why the insulator means, sorry, one isolator also be there at the time of circuit breaker. So if any kinds of faults has occurred, any kinds of difficulties may arise, so directly you can open that circuit breaker. Okay, so after the circuit breaker, in the roof of the railway, it is a motor coach. Okay, it's a motor coach, and you know that one, you know that in the roof lot of insulators are there. Okay, so insulator can carry that conductor from the circuit breaker, from pento to circuit breaker to the inside of the transformer. In the motor coach, big transformer is there. Okay, if you travel in the EMU, you know that in motor coach some sound is there, that is on compressor sound, means for maintaining the air pressure fixed. Okay, so some sound you can observe, you can listen. So that sound may cause for when it is some motor is turned on. Okay, that is your compression for maintaining the air pressure fixed. Okay, so at that room consists of this transformer. Okay, at that room consists of this transformer. So you know that directly power is coming to the primary side of the transformer, or HT side of the transformer. Then LT side, okay, that is normally three core transformer, sorry, three winding, secondary having three winding. Okay, so three winding transformer. Okay, so first here only for the schematic is showing, that's why only single winding is observed here. So one rectifier bank is there, and based on the transformer, that three windings are there. Based on the transformer, the rectifier is rectifying that AC voltage to DC. Then smoothing choke is there, or the smoothing reactor is there. It is a pulsating DC, so that should be same, means that should be the constant. Okay, so for minimizing the ripple. Okay, so for minimizing the ripple, so it can you will get that, sorry, minimizing of the ripple. Then you can for minimization of the ripple, you can use the smoothing choke or the smoothing reactor. Then you can directly feed to the DC series motor. Okay, so at that winding is there. Okay, so one auto transformer also connected at that winding. So you can change the sorry, it is called as a, in auto transformer the slider is there. Okay, slider means tap changer. Okay, the changing of the tap may cause for the changing of the voltage, and that voltage is directly change the input voltage of the series motor. And series motor is, this is pinion we are joining. Okay, so series motor is there. So series motor is responsible for what? Series motor is responsible for driving of the wheel of the rail. Okay, so it is your driving wheel and it's your transformer, and you can see that's a railway track. Okay, another terminal also been grounded. Okay, also that wheel directly connected with that railway track, means all are conducting. Okay, so materials are there, conducting ferromagnetic material. Okay, so definitely they will connected the another terminal through the railway track. So you can say like that, that means it totally connected with your, means the path is closed. Okay, but it is very simple diagram, but practically the diagram is not so simple like that. Okay, so there are other windings are there. Okay, sometimes the battery charger is not showing here, but battery chargers also be there. Directly you cannot connect the DC series motor with this moving reactor. So intermediate lot of steps are there. Okay, it's a block diagram for your better understanding. But practically there are a lot of intermediate steps. So power electronics drives also be there for smoothing reactor, for the power circuit, for driving the wheel. Okay, that it's your common wheel shaft. So pinion gear joining is connected with your shaft. Okay, that is a common wheel shaft. So that wheel is responsible. So motor shaft is responsible for the movement of the shaft, and that shaft is directly connected with the wheel. So if it is moving, so definitely wheel also will move. Okay, that concept is coming like that. Okay, simplified structure is there. It is a very simplified structure. Okay, then what are the most important points? So number one is a overhead conductor, that I am already telling you. So what are the voltage of the overhead? That is 22 to 25 kilovolt. So normal Indian convention we are using 25 kilovolt. So in this overhead conductor running along the track through the high voltage AC, okay, is supplied from traction substation and feed to the locomotive. Okay. Then the pantograph. Pantograph means what? It is collecting. Okay, pantograph is collecting the power from your overhead conductor. It is current collecting device mounted on the roof of the locomotive to collect the required power from the overhead conductor and feed to the locomotive. Okay. The circuit breaker. Okay, then circuit breaker. So I think all of you are able to understand the purpose of the pantograph. Circuit breaker means the circuit breaker is a protective device for the locomotive equipment. It is mounted on the roof of the locomotive. That function of the circuit breaker to make supply on and off both normal and the faulty condition. If the fault has occurred, so automatically circuit breaker will be on. Means circuit breaker will be off if the fault has occurred. The relays, a lot of relays are there. LT and AC relays are automatically system will be isolated from your main overhead conductor. Okay. Then what are the different type of tap changers? So it is on-load tap changer. On-load tap changers means that it is, you can say like that, the tap changers are connected in the primary. So I'm telling you now that so I'm telling you, so one conductor. So from this you can see from this transformer that it is your, this winding is responsible only for traction. Okay. So if the directly tap changer are in the primary of this circuit, so it's on one winding, so another winding also be there. Means if it is behave like auto transformer, so definitely one tap changers are common. You know that in auto transformer the primary and secondary windings are common. So in secondary side one tap changer is there, that like a variant. So it can sliding. Okay, it can sliding over that winding. Okay, but in case of sometimes what happen for locomotive. Okay, for the locomotive or the mainline transportation. Okay, so that tap changers are connected in the primary side of the winding, the transformer. Okay, and in case of locomotive, you know that winding also connected with the transformer. In the transformer, the tap changers are connected in the primary side. But normal EMU, okay, normal case of EMU, so the tap changers are connected in the secondary side directly. Okay. So that's why it is called that on-load tap changer. Okay, presence of the load, motor load, it can changing its tap. Okay, the on-load tap changers is speed regulatory device of the motor that regulate the motor speed by varying the voltage from the input side to transformer. Okay, so you can change the input side of the motor to the transformer. So output of the transformer is changed by the tap changer, and you can control the input voltage of the motor. Okay, then the transformer is there. So what are the transformer? The transformer is used to step down the line voltage to 225 kV to 1500 volts. So it depends. So rating of the voltage is depends. Sometimes it also reduced to 750 volts. So as per the rating of the means in EMU motor rating is different. Okay, in MEMU the motor rating also been different, means urban, suburban and main lines of transportation. All the cases the motor rating is different. Same motor you are not using. Okay, so based on the motor rating you are stepping down that rated voltage. Okay, there's definitely there are some electrical codes. Okay, means electric laws. Based on that laws you have to select the output voltage and you can stepping down the voltage and all the time try to regulate that voltage. That's why I am telling about you on load tap changer. So if suddenly that voltage is dipping, so tap changer automatically the tap changer changing their locations and changing their position and maintaining the fixed voltage or the required voltage to run the traction motor. So these all are the most important features. So I think that will conclude my session up to this portion in my next class. Okay, I am thinking about I will take the class on tomorrow. Okay, same timing at 12. Okay, so if possible, I am talking to you right now. Okay, so today I am concluding my session up to this position. So I think you can go through it in your home. If you faced any kinds of difficulties, you can ask me. Okay, so I hope you are able to understand that what am I telling you. Okay, so okay, thank you.